Charcoal grid self-portrait. You're going to need a 16 by 20 piece of gray paper, a pencil, and a long ruler. A long ruler, I would say at least 24 inches. You're going to take your ruler, you're going to line it up with the edge of your paper, nice and straight, and you're going to make a tick mark every 2 inches. So notice how I'm just going down my ruler and measuring 2, 4, 6, 8, all the way until I get to the 18-inch mark. Then I'm going to rotate my paper. So I'm going to take that side of my paper, flip it around, and then do the exact same thing at the bottom again, making sure that my ruler is lined up nice and evenly before I start making those tick marks every 2 inches. Make sure you start your ruler at the edge of your paper. Okay, after you do that, you're going to take your ruler and you're going to match up those 2 tick marks, and you're going to very lightly draw a straight line. Okay, notice how I'm holding my pencil. Holding my pencil at the very end so that I can have a very light grip on it so that I can create a very light line. So I'm taking time and I'm making sure that I line up each and every one of those tick marks so that my lines are straight. Creating a even grid is the best place to start to make a successful grid drawing. If your grid is off, the rest of your drawing is going to be off too. So here I go, measuring every 2 inches, and then I do the same thing on the other two sides of my paper. I make tick marks every 2 inches and line them up. Now you're going to move on to your various types of charcoal, and you can use a kneaded and a pink eraser. So here is my portrait that I printed out in grayscale. I already have a grid printed right directly onto my portrait, and I can start. Notice how I'm counting. I counted the 3 over, okay, and the first square. So I'm using my Vine charcoal, the lightest charcoal, to start outlining the contour of my head. So I'm starting with the top of my hairline. Notice how with my left hand, I'm kind of guiding myself along square by square. Grid drawing can get a little bit tricky if you lose track of which square you're in. So try to keep one hand on your grid so that you can follow the other one with your Vine charcoal. I'm drawing very lightly and very loosely, and I'm observing, but I'm going pretty quick. If you make a mistake, you can always use your eraser or even your finger to kind of smudge it out. Don't be afraid to add a couple pieces of paper to isolate the square you're working on. So I'm using this blue and this white paper to kind of just help me to look square by square. Looking at your whole entire grid is a little bit intimidating. So just focusing in on one square at a time might help you to slow down and really observe each square by square. You can add in a little bit of value or a little bit of texture as you go, mainly contour, but feel free to add in a little bit more information that's going to help you in the later stages of this drawing when we start filling in to get the value correct. I like to start at the top of my drawing because, as you know, charcoal, once you get it on your hand, starts to kind of blend around and move around easily. So I think starting at the top of your drawing is going to be the best bet to get the least amount of smudging happening. And I'm using the tip of my Vine charcoal just to kind of get a little bit of that edge. Notice how I'm using my finger to do a little tiny bit of blending as I go. Here I'm adding in some of those darker values in my hair. Now I'm getting to the edge of my eye and the contour of my hair. So I'm going in and trying to draw the shape for the end of my eyebrow. It's important that you don't make up any information. So if you don't see something in your square, do not draw it, okay? If you think you know what an eyebrow looks like, you really want to observe it and make sure you're drawing what your eyebrow looks like, not just a general eyebrow. Everybody's features are unique to themselves. So what one eyebrow looks like doesn't mean your eyebrow is going to look like that. Same thing with eyes, noses, mouths, hair. Okay, all those are going to be unique to each and every person in this class. So there isn't one right way to do an eyebrow or a nose or an eye. It depends on what yours looks like in grid form. Just speeded up the video here so you can get a general look on how this goes. I'm still working square by square. Notice how my left hand is still guiding as I go around. If you make a mistake, don't panic. You can erase Vine charcoal. I like to use my kneaded eraser. So I'm getting my other eye. I've got the side of my face, the rest of my hair. Don't forget your neck and your shoulders. Work square by square. Do not make up any information and observe and draw slowly.